Katrina didn't like how things had turned so early before Clark had died. No one was supposed to be pointing fingers at her when Clark was still alive. Of all the times Clark chose to have common sense, why now? A little bit more time and he would have been dead without anyone realizing what was done. I can't tell James to stop poisoning him since it would look suspicious for Clark to stop getting worse after calling me out. There are better ways to kill him, she thought. Year after year, I have to deal with the two of you calling me names, whether to my face or behind my back. I am completely shredding my character, even though I have been proving your theories wrong. To say that I have been poisoning my husband's brother is a new low for the both of you, Katrina said, forcing out tears to wipe away. She sniffled, pretending to hold back from crying even more. Katrina dabbed her eyes with a tissue, careful not to ruin her face after taking a reasonable amount of time to hide the mark Edgar gave her. I have desperately tried to fit in with this family for myself and my daughter. I put up with the comments about not measuring up to his first wife and being a whore. I have had enough. Clark could not believe Katrina had turned herself into the victim when she had been poisoning him. We do not care for your tears. Clark brought the rag to his mouth as he began to cough again. I have dealt with you talking about money we do not have from the moment you arrived. Instead of helping me, you jumped straight off to profiting off your brother's death. Lies, Clark exclaimed. Mother, we should toss her out of this house right away. It is her who is obsessed with money and has ruined our family. Clark, Greta interrupted her son as she could not handle the noise in her ears. Your uncles are leaving today. Go back home with them and never return to this house. Have a doctor look at you, and then I will deal with this woman accordingly. Clark stood with his mouth hanging open, at a loss for words because of his mother. Mother? How could you send me home when someone needs to take care of this household? I am here too. To put it in more debt, I have many questions about Desmond's wife, and if she were truly poisoning you, she would be dealt with. But the short time it took for her to get this house going again makes it clear she should remain in charge. I will not allow you to ruin Desmond's home, as you did with your own. No wife, no child, no home, and always running to me for help. I am too old for your shit. Greta hit her cane against the floor. Desmond's belongings will go to his daughter, Katrina. But mother, Clark whined. He was glad his mother was here to take his side and expected her to kick Katrina out, but she turned against him. Desmond plunged this home into debt, but you never once scolded him for it. Allow this to be my chance to show you that I have matured. Greta shook her head. You have not, and I love you enough to say that you will never mature and think smart about money. If Desmond had not been killed, he would have fixed his mistakes. On the other hand, I will find myself taking care of you till the day I die. Leave this house, Clark, and check if you value your life. I want to speak to the Baroness alone. Clark clenched his fists, holding back the desire to yell at his mother. He had not yet gotten Desmond's things, so he depended on his mother to fund his life. He could not make her angry to the point of cutting him off just yet. Once again, his only hope was to receive help from his niece. Someone had spotted the Duke's carriage returning to Lockwood in the middle of the night, so he had to move now to seek an audience with Edgar. He had many things to tell the man. Clark left the room without arguing against his mother's decision. No matter what, he would get close to his niece and use her husband to eliminate Katrina. He could not forget Katrina's distress after Edgar had scarred her face. Nice scar, he said out loud as he walked out the door. Katrina dug her nails into her hands as if her face was not joking. Edgar had ruined something she cherished dearly, and she would get back at him with the help of someone who equally hated him. Do not think I am on your side for a second. Everything belongs to you because I sent Clark away. If it comes back that you were poisoning him, I will strip you and toss you back onto the street, just as my son found you, and then kill you. Clark may be a fool, but as the person who brought him into this world, I can only take him out of it. Now. Greta closed the door Clark left open, as she had an important matter to discuss. She won't make it past the winter to try killing me, Katrina chuckled in her mind. It wouldn't be long before it was only her and Kate standing. My sources tell me that the man who killed my son returned late this morning. He must think he could go unnoticed by my family after his actions. That wretched granddaughter of mine must be punished for letting her father be killed after everything he did for her. The Barretts are not to be messed with. As soon as breakfast is over, take me to where Alessandra has run off to. I will deal with her and that husband, said Greta. I am paying him an arm and a leg to throw snowballs at my wife. Edgar rubbed his temple as he looked out his study window at Caleb running around with Alessandra and Sally. I need to fire everyone, he concluded. Meanwhile, on the outside, Alessandra happily ran around in the snow, feeling like a child again. As soon as breakfast was over, she grabbed a coat and convinced Sally to join her outside. Caleb came a little while later, since he needed to guard her, and ended up in a snowball fight. Hey! Sally yelled after Caleb threw a snowball at her face. Watch the face, you giant! Caleb tossed a freshly made snowball into the air, ready to throw it at Sally. No can do. I can't control where it lands. Fine. Sally bent down and balled up a handful of snow. Feeling left out of the fight, Alessandra asked, Why aren't you two throwing any at me? I want to be hit by one. Sally and Caleb stopped their fight momentarily and looked at each other. They both had spotted Edgar by the window and knew not to dare throw a snowball anywhere near Alessandra. If Edgar were to come downstairs to get back at them for hitting Alessandra, they both feared Edgar would use all of his strength to knock them out. You look too lovely to mess up your clothing with snow, Sally lied. What she said. Caleb pointed at Sally. Alessandra looked up at the window where she had seen Edgar standing and noticed he was gone. I should invite Edgar to play with us. No! Sally and Caleb exclaimed at the same time. Alessandra eyed the two with suspicion. Why can't Edgar join us? The Duke has to catch up on work he missed while away. We're only trying to save you from seeing the cranky side of Edgar, said Caleb. Alessandra muttered, But I have seen it many times. When is Edgar not cranky? A couple of minutes to let loose should not hurt him. I will bring him outside. Sally and Caleb felt their souls leave their bodies as they imagined Edgar throwing snowballs at them. Alessandra paid no mind to the blood draining from their faces and went back inside to find Edgar. She shook the snow off her body when she entered the door and felt relieved to feel the heat inside the house. She understood why Alfred would keep saying tea was the solution to everything. She would not mind one of his creations now. Where is Alfred? Oh! Alessandra backtracked and peeked into the dining room after she had just passed it. Plates stacked up on the table had caught her eye. Why are so many plates on the table? Are we having guests? Alessandra asked herself. She did not remember Edgar mentioning anything about it. Maybe they are being cleaned, but why were they brought to the dining table? Alessandra looked at the counter right next to the cabinet, which had plates with all kinds of designs on them. The cabinet seemed perfectly fine, and the counter was clear. So why did someone hassle themselves and walk to the table instead of using it? Alessandra picked up one of the plates to see what was so special for someone to have brought them to the dining table. They certainly are beautiful, she said as she ran her hands along the lines the design created. We have never eaten off of these. Entirely focused on the plate in her hand, Alessandra was unaware that someone in the dining room was watching and now approaching her like a thief in the night, trying their best not to let her realize they were right behind her until... Alessandra? Edgar placed a hand on her shoulder. Surprised by his presence, Alessandra screamed and accidentally let the plate slip from her hands. She tried her best to catch it, but in the end, the plate shattered against the marble floor. You gave me a fright, she said, placing her hand on her chest and taking a deep breath. It would have been nice for you to make your presence known. Now look what I've done. Alessandra pointed at the broken plate. Edgar looked down at the worst possible thing Alessandra could have done. You should start packing your bags. Or better yet, just run away before Alfred finds out. What? Why? Alessandra started to panic. She was now worried about the broken plate, which seemed to concern Alfred. As no one got hurt, she figured it could get cleaned up and she would go back outside. But Alfred changed the story. These are plates given to me by my grandmother and other relatives. Many of them are rare since the creator only makes a handful. Alfred liked them more, so I let him do whatever he wanted with them. He treats these damn plates like they're his children and doesn't let me eat off of them. Why did you kill one of Alfred's children, Alessandra? Edgar grinned. Alessandra paused and looked back at the broken plate again. You scared me. I didn't mean to drop it. Good luck with Alfred. Edgar patted her shoulder and tried to leave, but Alessandra grabbed his shirt. You have to help me get rid of this before Alfred comes back here to put them up or do whatever. You do know that he can count, right? Edgar asked. Alfred would count the plates before he put them back in the cabinet to ensure no one stole one. I am not getting in his line of rage. It was nice knowing you. Edgar removed her grip on his shirt. This was one of the few times he wouldn't dare tease Alfred. You do not mess with Alfred's clean floors or his plates. This was your fault. Alessandra held onto his shirt again. I wouldn't have dropped it if you didn't scare me. Why were they left alone on the table if they are so precious? Because everyone knows to leave the plates alone. How bold of you to pick one up. It won't be long before he returns, so think about something quickly. I am going to bury it in the backyard and feign ignorance, Alessandra said. She stooped down to pick up bits and pieces of the plate. Edgar couldn't judge the ordinarily sweet and honest for wanting to lie when avoiding Alfred's anger. I will show you where to bury it. Watch your fingers. Edgar stooped beside her to pick up the broken pieces. You know, I half expected you to help me dig the hole to bury it, not stand around watching me do it all myself. Alessandra tiredly blew a strand of hair out of her face and glared at Edgar, who stood leaning against a tree. It's a nice little lesson for you, isn't it? You can't look forward to things going your way all the time. Besides, you are the one who broke it. I've already picked up the pieces and found you a nice little corner to bury them in. Tell me how you plan to make Alfred not go around like a madman searching for it? Edgar asked. Alessandra continued to dig through the snow, trying to reach the dirt. Maybe I could hurt something he cares about more, and he wouldn't think about the plates. You could take a nice whack over the head if it means helping me get out of trouble, right? Edgar, for once, didn't know how to respond to Alessandra. How could she request to hit him over the head, all because of a little plate? Honestly, he would have just knocked all the plates off the table, chopped off one of the table legs, and acted like it was the table's fault. It was just more entertaining to see Alessandra dig a hole like a murderer trying to hide a body. What if I tell Alfred you are sick and offer to put up the plates for him? It could buy us some time for you to find the creator and have a new plate made. Then everything would be solved, said Alessandra. Why do your bright plans involve me doing the hard parts? Because you are a wonderful man who would do anything for his wife. Alessandra replied with the sweetest smile she could manage. Edgar enjoyed the compliment, but it wasn't enough for what she asked him to do. Carry on. He encouraged her to keep the compliments coming. With what? Alessandra asked. The compliments, of course. And you should put your back into it if you want to reach the dirt before more snow covers what you've already dug up. Alessandra had dropped the shovel and balled up snow to throw at Edgar for being of no help, but he dodged it. At this point, confessing what happened is best because you are no help. I don't want to see Alfred's angry side because of how bad everyone makes it seem, but I will just have to get it over with. Outside is cold. I have not yet reached the dirt, and I am with a man who wants compliments rather than to help me. Alessandra dropped the shovel onto the ground and picked up the broken plate they had wrapped in a cloth. This was why it was best to do the right thing from the very beginning. If Alfred's angry side scares Edgar, what will happen to me? I might faint, Alessandra thought. Are you sure you want to tell Alfred what you've done? Edgar walked behind her back to the house. Yes, it is best to be honest so that I do not run around trying to keep up a lie. It is now 100% certain you did not kill Jennifer, based on how quickly you had a spot to bury the broken plate. Please tell me there are no dead bodies buried on your land, Edgar. Silence fell between the two as Edgar did not answer her question. Alessandra's heart rushed from the thought of potentially stepping over where someone who was once Edgar's enemy was buried. Why would I be so foolish to bury them in my land when Oliver would release dogs all over my land? Your husband is no fool, Alessandra, Edgar replied to ease her mind. With the large kingdom, it wasn't hard to hide a body. I would not grant anyone the luxury of their body laying on my land. Now that you have brought Oliver up, do you think he has given up trying to blame you for Jennifer's death? I wouldn't want anyone to lose their jobs, but it seems he takes things too personally when you are involved. I would avoid you if I were in his shoes, since my feelings would get in the way. It is unfair for me to watch out for both women and men lusting after my husband. Alessandra turned around to glare at Edgar. Edgar did not see why she was glaring at him, as if it was his fault that both genders wanted him. He did nothing special to make them fall for him. As children, he was just playing around with Oliver as other boys would, and when it came to women, they were just in love with his face, wealth, and the person in their heads they pictured him to be. It would have been entertaining had he sought to be in everyone's bed, but it was all annoying, as he disliked people coming to him with their foolish conversations and feelings. If anything, Edgar would like everyone to honestly believe he was a monster so they would stay away. I cannot be blamed for being created to perfection. You should take pride in having what everyone wants but could never have, he replied. Certainly not. It is a hassle to have what many want. I have already met a few of your fangirls, and I remember how many women were watching us at the ball. I do not want to deal with it forever. I can already imagine someone trying to mess up the peace in our relationship, said Alessandra. Edgar was about to reply to Alessandra when he noticed Caleb frantically looking around, and then when his eyes landed on the two of them, he ran over. Duke, a message came from my brother at the gates. Greta and Katrina Barrett are here to speak with the Duchess. We are waiting for your order. Caleb relayed the message. Once again, Edgar thought of getting rid of all the Barretts, because their number by his gates was increasing, and they could not take a hint. Seeing that your grandmother is here with that woman, it must mean you are not that close, right? Edgar asked Alessandra before he made a move. Alessandra didn't know what to think of her grandmother. Before what happened with the mask, her grandmother would bring gifts during her visits. Greta would never personally hand them over and use a servant. After what happened with the mask, her grandmother rarely visited the home, so her father would travel with Kate and Katrina to see her. I don't know clearly whether she likes or dislikes me since she has been distant. She is far from what I felt with Rose. I will send them. No. Alessandra stopped Edgar. Invite them in. I will properly deal with them so that neither returns to our gates. They will keep showing up unless we give them a reason to stay away. I wish to show that I am not that same girl who hid in the corner, afraid of them.